Good morning. It is Monday, the 14th of January, 2013, and it's about 5 after 6 a.m. Pacific time, and I have just entered a short trade in the S&P. Haven't even drawn my lines yet. So I will get back with you when I have something to tell you. Well, we finally hit the first target and moved the stop. That was a little choppier than I thought. I did expect that we were in a corrective wave of some sort, but it was a little longer lasting than I anticipated. Still, we are on our way down again, and we'll see if we make a new low. I think there's a chance that we might do that. As you can see over here on the dome, we're right up against the low of the day right now, which is always going to give a little bit of support to the price. But I'll let you know what happens when there's something else to talk about. All right, we've taken out the second target. That's always a good sign. And as you may have noticed, I am using a chart template, which is essentially the same configuration as we have over here on our 13-minute chart. But this is sort of the 3-minute version of it. I have found that the parameters and configuration over here on the left is pretty accurate and filters out a lot of false starts and whatnot. So I am transposing it over here to see how that works. So far, so good. Talk to you later. All right, we've been stopped out, but our first trade netted us 458.50. And I don't know if I mentioned this last time. I'm using a slightly different chart template. It has a lot of the same basic information here. The longer term MACD is essentially emulating the MACD over here on the 13-minute, but then we also have overlaid the faster MACD, which gives us the ins and outs of our blue and white moving averages. So it's a little different than the one you saw before, but it has actually a little more information. What I've done is I've taken the solid histogram out from the faster MACD. We used to have the gold and the steel blue, and I think it kind of hindered the viewability of the longer MACD. So I think doing it this way is going to be helpful. We shall see. Anyhow, we're on the scoreboard looking good, and there's a pretty good chance that this is a turning point here, but we'll wait and see if we get our red, white, and blue going in the other direction. That will be our confirmation. But right now we've got a strongly suggested candidate here, thanks to the zigzag and the Donchian channel. Okay, we're about to take a long trade here. I'm going to do it based on the fact that we got a red, white, and blue alignment on our 1-minute chart. Lock and load, ready, aim, fire. Okay, we're long from 1464 1/4, and we're pretty much at the 38% mark right now. I'll let you know what transpires. Well, it took a while, but we finally hit the first target and moved the stop. Okay, while we're waiting for something else to happen, let's take a look at the bigger picture. This again is my chart template that mimics the layout of the 13-minute turning point chart, and I've scooted it back a ways so we can see some of the turning points that have preceded our day session today. As you can see, the zigzag agreed that this was a high and that this was a low, but these ones in between were too shallow. And as you can see, this one did not hit the lower Donchian. This one did not hit the upper. This one was at the lower, but just barely. This one did not hit the upper. So there was a good likelihood that we would continue lower at this point, and of course we got exactly that. Now we've got more of a real move here. So this is going to be a high. We don't know what else might be in store, so I will wait to mark that. But we've had just 2 trades today, but both of them have been successful, although we had to sweat on this last one for a while until it did its consolidation thing before finally breaking higher. I wanted to point out also the support and resistance situation. It's a little hard to see, but right here at the very bottom of our lowest low is the second layer of support from the pivot points. Remember, the pivot points are these things here. I have the line further extended on this 13-minute chart. You can see here. Maybe it's a little easier to show it over here. The lowest low is right at the second support zone. The pivot, the first support zone is kind of runs right through all of this consolidation that we just lived through, and the price right now is trying to work its way back up to the pivot point. And as you can see, this bit of consolidation was at the pivot point, and this bit up here is at the first resistance level, and then of course the highest high so far is at the second resistance level. So the pivot points definitely help us figure out whether we have a legitimate turning point or not. And so getting back to this low today, not only did we have the zigzag coming all the way down, but you can see our Fibonacci grid. Actually, let me do this and put the Fibonacci grid on the previous pair of turning points, which would have been this low to this high. Now, and you can see that in this case, there was a layer of support at the 300% marker, and the price went even lower than that. So that made it very oversold and quite likely to rise. We had the zigzag confirming, we had the Donchian channel confirming, we had the fact that we were at the second support zone on the pivot points. So it was kind of a no-brainer to get long once we flipped the parabolic here. Even though I had the stochastic in my favor, I didn't have the MACD yet. But even then, we had to wait quite a while. But as you can see, when we get the MACD on this time scale, the 13, and this is matching it over here on the 3, when we get this MACD, you can see it's a pretty reliable indicator once that cross occurs. There might be a lot of squirreling around by the price, but it will ultimately go in the direction suggested by the MACD, and that's exactly what it's done here. So we've finally gotten up to the pivot point here based on this grid. Let me turn this around a little bit and redraw it over here from this high down to this low. And as you can see, we're above the 38, but we haven't reached the 61.8 yet. I think there's a pretty good chance that we're going to hit this. And you can see we had some consolidation at that level before. So it would make some sense if we got there. It's hard to tell exactly what we have going on here. Let's open this up a little ways. It could be that from this high, this is the start of perhaps of a larger Elliott wave pattern. It could be like a 1, and then here's wave 2. This is all wave 3. This is all wave 4. And this thing is going to top out here, maybe where it is right now at the pivot point, and then sell off again, and maybe even give us a third turning point today. We shall see. But anyway, this might be wave 4 of a larger pattern, which of course means that we're going to have a wave 5 as well. So we will just see what happens, and I've got this now to the point where we can move our stop up a little bit. Okay, well, that's the latest. Just 2 trades, but good ones. And I'll let you know when there's more to talk about. Okay, we have been stopped out, and at this hour of the day, we won't be starting another trade. It's 12:28. So we had 2 trades today and had a score of $892. I will wait to close out the video until we get to the actual end of the day, but that was all done in real time there, folks. So this is a preview of what you can expect in the trading room. Hope to see you all there. Back at you in a bit. Okay, you can see how the rest of the day played out. Price dropped a little bit, zigzagged around on the red moving average bit, spiked up, spiked back down, kind of stopped short of flipping the big parabolic. I have a feeling that that'll probably happen when the market resumes. And I can't quite tell if this high here actually reached the Donchian channel. I don't think it did. Consequently, I have marked this with a small letter high here. I decided that I would do some changing of the protocols. As I may have mentioned already, I'm no longer marking the red, white, and blue turning points here because I want to take more of a 24-hour perspective on that topic. So you can see that where we have the Donchian channel and the zigzag confirming, I have marked the high lows with the capital letters, and on these shallow ones in between where we don't get one or the other of those 2 indicators, I've marked it with the lowercase. So over here on this time frame, it looks more like we hit the upper Donchian, but I really can't be sure. So to make them all consistent, I will just make this a small letter situation, and this is what the bigger picture looks like, and you can see where the levels of support and resistance were. So whether it's lowercase or uppercase, it looks like tomorrow we'll be looking at a low, but maybe not. So everybody enjoy, and keep marking your calendars here because we're counting down to the start of the trading room, and I sure hope I can see a lot of you in there when we finally get underway at the beginning of March. All right, thank you very much. Talk to you soon.